Well, hello, friends, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook, and welcome to a Sample Sunday. Staying in the Irish theme, I've got three pretty big Irish samples. These are all single cask strength releases. Thanks again to Sean, Dark Cloud Whiskey. You are too kind. These are, this is a Teeling single cask, single malt, 16 year, wine and beyond special, matured only in sherry. Then we're going to take a look at another Teeling, single malt, single cask. This is the Kensington Wine Market out of Calgary, and it's a 15-year Armagnac finish. And then we'll wrap it up with the Irishman, 17-year single cask, finished in sherry. So, look, if you have any bigger, bolder Irish like that, single cask strength, why don't you pour something? If you have one of these, even better. And when we get back, we'll share some thoughts on these samples. 3, 4. Well, as I said in the opener, thanks to Sean, Dark Cloud Whiskey, for sharing some of these amazing Irish releases. Let's let the whiskey talk. I'll tell you just my thoughts. I've poured them out. I will say the Nook smells lovely. I don't know if it's from all three or a particular one, but they obviously have already filled the room. I've had them poured out for about 20 minutes. This first one is Teeling, single malt, single cask. This is the Wine and Beyond 16 years sherry matured. I couldn't quite tell. Like, I even saw an image of the bottle and the tube, and it said aged in sherried oak or something like that, or sherried cask. It didn't say whether it was finished or whatnot, so maybe it's entirely in sherry. Let's try the whiskey. Beautiful, rich nose, so full of fruit, but a little bit of darker fruit here, a little bit of raisin. Yeah, but there's also some sweetness, some almost apricot. It's too much for that, but something like a sweeter fruit. Boy, that's rich. I can't wait to try it. Sláinte. I took a small sip because we're at 54. What is this one? Yeah, 55.4%. Just took a little bit to let it kind of coat my palate, and it did exactly that. Rich, thick coating. The palate had a little less of the dark fruits that I was getting on the nose. This one for me absolutely has some nice, rich, really good quality cut pear. Not so much apple, but more pear and slight stone fruit. Some of that sherried husky oak that I'd expect for this age isn't quite there, but it's coming a little bit on the palate, a little bit of darker oak on the finish. Sorry. Another little sip. Continue to really like the coating nature of this. It just really is nice and thick, and that feeling of viscous and kind of thickness lends itself to that richer, fruitier notes. A little butter, light, yeah, okay, a little bit buttered tasting in there. What a wonderful dram. Just what a great start to the Whiskey Sunday. I just think that's fantastic. So another Teeling release, and of course, at this kind of age, what were we, 16 years, 15 years, this is sourced either out of Cooley, or I think sometimes Teeling sources out of Bushmills, I'm not sure, but clearly it's not their own distillery because they weren't producing that far ago. But now this is a single cask, Kensington Wine Market, but it's got a finishing in Armagnac cask. Now, I'm not a big cognac or Armagnac or brandy person, so I can't speak really with a lot of insight, but let's see what it has on the whiskey. Oh, that's a little dustier, a little more husky. Drier fruit notes. Just going to compare quickly back to the first one. In direct comparison, a little bit of honey, a little more sweet butter. This one, a little drier, it's gonna say saltier. It's not really briny, but it's giving that impression of like dried fruits. Let's try it on the palate. Sancha. Oh, this one has more spicing in it. More like, yeah, I guess Christmas spices, but it's a mix of a little bit of heat, like some hot cinnamons, but then some light peppers, and then what's a good savory spice? I better try it again. Sancha. I said it the other day in a tasting note, maybe a bit of ginger, a bit of, like, not strong ginger though, but certainly a richer spice palette. Between these two, this is the more coating, slow sipping, but sweet fruit. This one, yeah, dry, spicy, husky, little bit of musky oak. Definitely a spicier dram. So the third big and bold Irish sample up today is the Irishman. It's also the oldest. This is 17 years, single cask. It's 56%. Oh, well, the last one was 58, I believe, 58.4, and then the first one was 56, 55.4, sorry. So 55, 58, and this is 56. Now this one clearly is darker in color. I know you can't really see it in the set, but it is immediately darker on the color, and I do believe I've read that this one has spent its entire 17 years in a sherry butt. So let's try this one. It's almost a cross in the nose between these two. So rich, thicker sherried fruits, a little more dark raisin, a little the first that also spoke a little bit of espresso or chocolate in the nose. It might actually be present now that I'm thinking about that. Yeah, there is a little bit of that in the brandy cask one, but it's the first one to sort of speak that note into my mind. Yeah, so a little darker, little leathered again, dried, a little bit closer, I guess, to the Armagnac than the first one. Let's give it a try on the palate. Sláinte. Lots of dark sherry on here, drying sherry. It's if it's not Oloroso, I'll eat my shirt. It's got to be Oloroso because it's got that dry. And there's some nut and there's some. I'm firmly in I don't know. Prune is maybe too strong, but that kind of really dried plum, raisin, sultana, musky oak, edges sulfur even. Full sherry. I'd even go so far as to say this one would classify as a sherry bomb. So, you know, all three of these are just fantastic Irish whiskeys, and what a treasure for me to be able to try them with you, give you some first thoughts. I think if you're, and I don't want to speak for this, but if you're enjoying the you know, the honey buttered, a little bit easier sipping Irish profile, but you want to step it up a notch, the first one here, the Teeling that is finished in sherry, I think, is probably going to attract because it's like those flavors, but better coating, a little deeper, a little more fruit. Very nice. The Armagnac, the brandy, it's sweet, it's spicy, it's Christmas cake spicy, it's all kinds of different things. Yeah, I find it almost the most unusual up here. And the Irishman 17-year speaks like a single malt sherry bomb. It's got a ton of dried, drying, leathered, sherried fruits in a pretty decent backbone. I'm not sure what my favorite is. It's obviously just first thoughts, because at first, this is most unique. Oh, I'm liking sherry these days, but this was really well done. So they're almost a tie, and I bet that's a cop-out. But it's just that each of them has its own unique qualities, and each of these speaks to a high quality release. So thankful I could try them. And if you're looking for something to step up your game this St. Patrick's Day, now any one of these I think would be a delight to relax with friends. Thanks for joining me here this Sunday. Hope you guys have a fantastic week.